Hello, welcome to this episode of Be the Wealth. Today, we're going to talk about safety first. Why the hell is that important? We've heard that our whole lives. Oh, safety first, safety first. But I'm here to tell you that if things are not working in the way your life the way that you want to, or you have dreams, or you have had dreams that you have since shelved and they haven't come true yet, and they haven't come to fruition, this concept of safety first is the reason why. Because let me tell you something. Most of your life is dictated by what's going on subconsciously and unconsciously. Yes, we are consciously making choices and moving through our life, but most of the time, our brain is operating on the subconscious programming, on the programming from the past. Just think about all the times you drive home from work or the grocery store. It's like you just do it automatically. You're not consciously thinking about, oh, I need to pay attention for Maple Street because I got to turn right on Maple Street. You're not doing that shit. Your mind just knows where to go already because of repetition and the past. Yeah. Your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind is what drives you home when you're lost in thought, when you're thinking about something else, when you occupying your conscious brain with like all your to-do list or whatever the fuck it is that you need to do or you think you need to do. There's the key right there. What happens is your unconscious and your subconscious number one priority is to preserve the body, to make sure that you are safe. And so what happens is that anything that it deems unsafe, it will pivot you away from. You wonder why you procrastinate? Anybody out there procrastinate? Why am I not doing this thing? There's two reasons we procrastinate. One is because the thing that we're trying to do is out of alignment with who we truly are. The other reason, which is way more common, is because some part of you deems it unsafe. Okay, so if I finish this project, whatever project it is, and once I'm done with that project, then I'm going to have to. What happens when you finish a project? You have to present it. You have to give it to the world. But now, if historically you have had bad circumstances and bad things happen when you have shown yourself and shown the things that you love and that you care about to the world, you're going to procrastinate. It's not because you don't want to finish the project, it's because your subconscious mind is trying to protect you from potentially being rejected, from potentially being ridiculed. And so your brain is many steps ahead and it's going to throw the monkey wrench in your life and sabotage you as many steps before the actual point of contention, the thing where that it thinks is unsafe, as it can. So if you don't finish the project, then it doesn't have to worry about you being in front of an audience getting rejected and ridiculed. And historically, at the deepest level, being rejected and ridiculed leads potentially to abandonment or banishment. And historically, throughout history, humans have carried with them that banishment and abandonment mean potential death. So, this is real safety issues for your subconscious mind. Now, we know consciously, if everybody fucking walks out of my life and I am banished from New York City, that I could go somewhere else and pick up and survive. We know this consciously and logically, but our subconscious and unconscious run on emotion. And in fact, it is the precursor for almost all the decisions we make. We make 35,000 decisions a day. Listen to that, 35,000 decisions a day. And 90 to 95% of those decisions are based on emotional. So Our brain is, what is this going to make me feel? And based on that, it will make you have a decision. You will decide emotionally, you will justify logically. Oh, I want to buy into this new program and it'll be so good for me because I need to see how other people facilitate events. That might be an excuse that I might use, right? Because I facilitate events and maybe there's this thing that I want to do. And I'm using a real example, you guys. I'm saying maybe, and I'm calling it a pretend, but it's something that happened. There was this program that was doing all these cool things that I wanted to do. And the reason I was going to do them was going to do this program was because there was in this program, there were these things that I wanted to do. Now, what I was telling myself was, oh, it's going to be so great. Here's my logic to justify my emotional decision. It's going to be so great to see how somebody else facilitates an event. Then I can justify it for work, for business, all of those things. And right, makes sense. Okay. Now I didn't buy the program. But what I realized and what I recognized, because I have healed so many of my safety triggers, is that for me, historically, it was unsafe. It felt unsafe to want what I want and just go after it and get it. I always had to have a workaround because my experience in the past was that if I asked for what I directly wanted and went for what I wanted, direct straight line paths, then it would get taken away, shut down, said no, right? So in a recent podcast, you may have heard me talk about how when I would ask my mom if I and tell her I was hungry because I wanted food, right? Direct line, I'm hungry, please get me food. I would be told, you're not hungry, it's a figment of your imagination. And so I had to learn these workarounds to get what I want in order to get the things that I actually needed. And so this was a prime example. It's, oh, I have to have this workaround to do these really cool things that I want to do, like zip line and ropes course and just extreme things, because I like to do extreme things. You guys know I firewalk and I went to hike to Everest Base Camp. I like to do things that really push the edges. And that's a part of who I am. It's a part of me being the wolf. And it's one of my core values is to ride that line, push that edge and take it to the extreme. But it didn't always feel safe for me. So again, I had to make these excuses and these reasons. But here's the thing. Once my subconscious and unconscious realize that it's actually safe for me to do what I want, it clicked. It was like, oh, okay. I can just go do a ropes course and I can just do a zip line. I don't have to do it inside this program with a facilitator making up some excuse about why I have to do it that way. And so what happens sometimes when you clear and heal the feelings of being unsafe and the emotional triggers that reside and unresolved feelings that reside in your body, when you resolve them and clear them, then you're free to actually do the thing without having to have a workaround, right? Safety first. So for me in the past, I would have had to have bought the program because I would have needed a workaround, a reason to be able to do the thing that I wanted, because that would have made it more safe. Does this make sense for you all? So think about in procrastination, right? We talked about if you're going to finish the project and then you have to present it, but you don't want to be historically like there was rejection and abandonment and ridicule if you presented something, and that is deemed to your subconscious and your nervous system as unsafe. So then you don't finish the project. But then there becomes a point when a deadline is upon you and you have to finish the project, because now if you don't finish the project, you will potentially lose the money. The client will be upset with you. And so now the safety, it's more safe to finish the project than it is to not finish the project and to procrastinate on it. So now what your brain will do is, oh, you will scramble and you'll scramble and you will finish the project, but you're running from fear. And anytime that you are trying to create something and build something, whether it's a project, whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship, if you are operating from the fear of, I'm not going to be safe, right? This is deep subconscious stuff. If that is running in the background, you are literally just punting the football down the field. What do I mean by that? So you're going to finish the project and it's going to be fine, but it's not going to be new. It's not going to create something different in your life. So if you're doing things like this for your business and you're wanting what you create to create a new outcome in your business, operating this way is going to fuck you. Literally, it's going to fuck you because you're not going to be accessing anything new. And if you're just finishing a project for a client and you're not creating something new, you're just rinsing and repeating what you've done before, it's not going to create a new result. And plus, you have been operating from fear. You were like, oh my God, I have to finish this. The client's going to be upset. And so when you're operating from whatever that frequency of emotion is, the outcome is going to be that. So you're probably going to have to make some changes, make some shifts, and it's going to be this cycle of trying to keep the client happy because they're probably not going to be happy. This is a thing that maybe you're going to get, maybe you're not. A lot of people don't get this, but whatever emotional state you are in when you are creating something is the outcome of whatever you are creating. So if I'm creating from fear, oh my God, the client's going to reject me, they're not going to like me, I'm going to lose money, and I'm creating from fear, the outcome of whatever I create from that place is going to be more fear, not necessarily immediately, but over time, it's just going to create more fear. It's like we're doing short-term decisions. It's instant gratification decisions. So it's about right now. I'm trying to get safe, right? Safety first, right now. And so if we're always operating from that, and I'm going to tell you that most people are, your life is going to be relatively stagnant. There's not going to be this growth, this steady growth. And if you are a business owner, this is incredibly important, because if you are always working on in your business, in the day-to-day, these things have to be done right now, you're operating from fear and trying to make sure that you're safe. And when you're operating from fear and trying to make sure that you're safe, what ends up happening is that you're just creating more of the same. So it's, if you take the time to build out the system, yes, it's, oh my God, there's so much to do, but blah, blah, blah. But you take the time to build out the system, will create more space later down the line. But here's the key. If you're building out the system because you're like, oh my God, I have to do this so that I have more time and the love, I'm all stressed out when I'm doing it, your system is going to have a lot of fucking glitches in it. Not on purpose, because your brain can only see, your brain focuses narrow when you are in a state of fear, when you are feeling unsafe. And any time that you feel any kind of lack, not enough time, not enough money, not enough resources, not enough help, anytime you feel any kind of lack, your brain thinks that you're unsafe, because we are hardwired to Notice lack, because if we are in a state of lack, it means that our safety and survival is at stake. And so your brain is going to narrow, and you are going to focus on what will get you out of lack right now. Again, safety first. So it's not going to be worried about what's going to happen down the future. Like maybe you have finished that system and it works okay for the first couple of times, but then it breaks, or then you notice a glitch and it's, oh God, it's sending emails to the wrong person, and it's sending the wrong email, or the email out of order. Like you got it done and your brain got the dopamine hit. Okay, I'm done. It's finished. I'm safe now. Dopamine is an indicator that you are safe now. Think about that. Really think about that. If you are a person who chases dopamine, hello, my fellow ADHD people, you are a person who is chasing dopamine, you are operating in that fight and flight. You are looking for that pop of dopamine to tell you that you are safe right now. But that doesn't help you be safe in the long run. You have to keep chasing the dopamine, keep chasing the dopamine to be like, oh my God, I'm safe. I'm safe. Okay. I have a little dopamine. Now I can breathe, and maybe I can work on a project in a way that creates long term solutions. Your brain is always going to trump everything for safety. It doesn't matter what you want to do. And here's the thing, it is basing what is safe on your past experience. So if you got bullied when you were a kid, if your mom yelled at you under certain circumstances, if your dad ignored you under certain circumstances, all of those things are triggers that make you feel lack, which makes your nervous system, your body, your brain feel unsafe. You ever have a situation where afterwards you're like, why the hell did I say that? Why? And it makes no sense to you. But the reason you have those reactive expressions, those reactive actions, is because there is something that's triggering your brain into thinking that the situation of the past. And so you're responding how you would have in the past when there was actual danger. Because half of the fucking time that your brain thinks that you're not safe, it is not real right now. It is a perception that is based on the past. And oftentimes you are literally emotionally and mentally looped back into the past. You ever have, I know you guys have had this, a song bring you back in time, a smell bring you back in time, and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm right there. I can feel the feelings of the way that, for me, it's butterscotch. If I smell butterscotch, it loops me back to being at the all you can eat buffet with my stepdad, getting the ice cream sundae with the butterscotch syrup and the caramel syrup and the hot fudge syrup. And this was a moment that just feels so juicy and yummy and alive. And oh, I love it. So if I smell butterscotch, I am looped back in that time. It's not just smells and it's not just good things, it is all of the things. So if somebody looked at you, raises an eyebrow in a weird way, and that was the look that your dad got before he yelled at you, if somebody does that, you are going to be looped into your little child self, being like, oh my God, people pleasing dad, I got to make sure that this person is okay. And the person hasn't even done anything or said anything, but subconsciously you will hear it because you are looped back into time, and your brain is like, this situation is unsafe. That eyebrow raise is now, I have to make sure this person likes me, and I got to bend over backwards and the kowtow and do whatever they say because I feel unsafe. Now, if you resolve those emotions about when dad yelled at you, then you can actually be present in the moment. So we talk about healing, and we talk about healing our trauma and all of that stuff. But this is fucking why, because when you have unresolved emotional content in your body, you are constantly being looped back to the past. Oh, this situation, your brain's this situation looks like this thing that happened in 1982. So we're going to just operate as if it's 1982 because that shit is unresolved. So here's the opportunity to resolve it. You can think that your brain is actually trying to get you to resolve all this old shit. So if I stand in that moment, 1902, when dad raises his eyebrow and he's yelling at me, and I can operate differently, and I can stand in my power and stand in myself and not bend and feel scared and kowtow and stand in that fear and hold it and contain it and let it alchemize and process in my body. All of a sudden, boom, now that eyebrow raising is no longer a trigger, and my subconscious mind thinks, hey, you are safe. You can be around people that eyebrow raise and be fine. So if you grew up in a situation where it was dangerous, it was chaotic, there was a lot of control happening, resolving this stuff is going to be really important, because in those situations, I'm going to guess that you have a ton of unresolved stuff because it's just happening constantly. Parents who are controlling are in a state of fear. And what happens is that fear imprints on you. And so your brain is like, safety first, safety first. Oh my God, I can't. If your mom was constantly like, oh my God, you fell down, and they were like in a state of fear around you, you're going to learn that falling down is dangerous, because why else would mom act with all of that fear? So you're going to adopt that same kind of fear. If you had a parent who had a lot of anxiety, you probably have a lot of anxiety, because what happens is this stuff is passed down, not consciously, not on purpose, but through demonstration. If you want to have, and this is really important, if you want to have a really big life, if you want to trailblaze and do new things in the world, you're going to have to overcome this safety first thing. You're going to have to overcome stuff that has been passed down through generations in society that has been deemed unsafe. And you're going to have to be able to, just like I said with the dad, stand in it, stand in the fear, be able to hold it, be able to alchemize it, and be able to move from a place of higher level emotion. Because when you make decisions from a place of higher level emotion, whether it be just, let's say, neutral, let's say joy, let's say peace, let's say freedom, let's say love, the outcome on the other side is more of that. So if you're a business owner who wants to have financial freedom, you need to feel free when you are making money decisions. If you are feeling scarcity and trapped and the shit's going to come falling down, every decision you make from that place is going to create more feeling trapped, more feeling scared, more like the shit is going to come falling down. Now, you can look at it, and that's actually very logical. What you put in is what you get out, right? It's just like AI. Garbage in, garbage out. Fucking gold in, gold out, right? What we put in, it's also physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right? So the tail, I put in shit, then the pendulum's going to swing on the other side of that swing is going to be shit. Same frequency. It might look like green shit instead of brown shit, but it's still fucking shit. If I put in apples laced with gold and I swing the pendulum, and on the other side of that, I'm going to get apples laced with gold. Or maybe even something bigger. I might get an apple tree laced with gold, right? Because what we're putting energy into grows. What you focus on grows. So if I'm focused on this apple laced with gold, and I swing the pendulum and I focus on it and focus on it, then I'm going to get this apple tree laced with gold. If I have that shit and I swing the pendulum and I focus on, oh my God, what's going to happen? Is it going to work? Is it going to be bad? Are people going to like it? It like you're focused on more and more shit. And then on the other side, it's going to blow up and be a big fucking shit pile. So literally, it is science, people. Physics, frequency. And we could say, oh, it's a bunch of woo woo stuff, but it's all this shit is backed by science. You've got to understand that your subconscious mind and unconscious mind is a big super computer. And your subconscious is operating mostly on the things you've experienced, but your unconscious mind is operating on things that are even beyond. So this is where the generational stuff comes in, and this is where pre-verbal stuff comes in. So if you were left in the crib and you were left to cry it out, which a lot of us were, oh, just let them cry it out. What that does, your nervous system is, oh my God, this is unsafe. Being alone is unsafe. And you're an infant and you literally cannot lift your head up. You can't sit up. You can wiggle your arms a little and your legs a little, and you can cry. And that's all you can do. And so if you're experiencing discomfort or fear, like maybe there's a train going by your window and you feel like there's this big monster, but you don't even have words, you can't even conceptualize it. So now loud noises then become this thing that sends you into this feeling trapped and powerless, because literally when you are an infant, you are trapped and powerless inside this body, having these sensations. And if nobody comes to help you when you cry, you learn that you are trapped and powerless. And so now when a big noise comes along or you are left alone, you are anchored back and you loop back in to that feeling of trapped and powerless. And from that place, it's almost impossible to make good decisions for your business, to actually communicate in a way that creates depth and intimacy in your relationships. And the only way when you're feeling like this, because now you're in the real world and you're an adult, but you still have this unresolved pre-verbal stuff that you can't even name and you can't even explain. You can say it's like, oh, my mom ignored me when I was 7 and but the actual root cause comes from being when you were left to cry it out that 1 or 2 times in the crib, and you can't access that point, and that's the point that actually has to be processed. So if you're thinking about it's, oh, my mom ignores me and this is why I feel so alone and so whatever, but now I'm focused on loneliness and feeling alone, and so I'm resolving those feelings, but those feelings aren't the fucking feelings that need to be resolved to actually solve this problem. What needs to be resolved is that feeling that was so overwhelming when you were in the crib and you were so full of fear. But so many of us are looking at this, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, and working on that, but that doesn't actually clear the root cause that actually resolves the problem. And the problem is because most of that root cause stuff happened before you had language to explain it and make a meaning out of it, happened from generations past. So it has been passed down in your DNA, like genetic markers. You have a genetic disease, and then there's some event in your life that maybe activates that thing. So sometimes that happens too. And then you've got this brain that's putting safety first. So all of that stuff, it's okay, I'm never going to be alone, because being alone will bring up that feeling of feeling trapped and powerless in the crib and all of that fear. And God knows I'm definitely not going to live in a loud place, even though maybe your dream is to be on Broadway, but you can't live in New York because it's too fucking loud, because your nervous system has deemed it unsafe. And the fucking thing that is the fucking kicker, I'm swearing a lot and I'm not going to apologize for it, but I feel very passionate about this. This is the thing that is the kicker, is that subconsciously and unconsciously, what we as humans try to do is we try to control our outside environment, right? I'm not going to live in New York City because I can't be around loud noises. But now you're in the country and now someone's setting off fireworks and you're like, oh my gosh, this. So I'm not living my Broadway dream. And now a car backfires and I'm still having to feel that fear from time to time. Maybe not as often as if I were in New York City, but I'm still having to feel the fear some of the time because you can't outrun and control your environment to outrun that fear because it is inside your body. Let me say that again. You cannot outrun these fears because they're inside your body. What we as humans do, I spent most of my life doing was trying to control everything so that I could live a life that felt good while still feeling safe enough. But every time I tried to expand my life, every time I tried to go bigger, I couldn't do it. I would have to shrink down into this smaller life that I had curated. I was a photographer, an artist, and I really wanted to make that career happen. And I had art shows and I did Burning Man art projects. I did these big things, but I couldn't make the business go. I couldn't make money at it because it would require me to be seen. It would require me to talk to people that I didn't know without a safety net. I was great at talking to people with a safety net. I bartended for a long time, and that bar between me and you made me feel safe. The fact that I was working allowed me to be able to walk away if I felt uncomfortable in a conversation. If one of those unprocessed sensations came up in me, I could pivot. And this was happening. I didn't even know that I was doing this. In fact, I didn't even know that I did that until I actually did it in a conversation in real life with 3 people. And all of a sudden I turned and walked away mid sentence when they were talking because some sensation inside of me, old unprocessed thing that my subconscious is like, oh, this is unsafe. This is unsafe. I have to get away from it. But it was living inside of me the whole time. And so I created this life where it was like, okay, I could talk to people and communicate because I wanted that so desperately. But yeah, it was so scary because of my history was that communicating, asking questions, getting to know people, all of that was dangerous. So the only way that I found to connect, and I did this all subconsciously, I didn't realize that I created my life that way, was to create all these safety nets. So bartending was a great fit because I could live safety first, but I couldn't make my dreams come true. I couldn't be the artist that I wanted to do. I couldn't communicate with my art because I was afraid of the backlash. I couldn't say what I really wanted to say in my art. There, I have projects that I never finished and then never did that I was so passionate about, but I didn't do them. I can see now because they could have potentially invoked ridicule and criticism and maybe people who wouldn't have gotten it and they wouldn't have liked my message. And so I didn't do them. I procrastinated because it was safer for me to not do them than to potentially put it out, even though my heart and my soul wanted to put them out. And I had things I wanted to say and a viewpoint that I wanted to demonstrate, but I couldn't do it. And so here's the thing, most people have settled in their life and they don't even know it. They're living a life that, oh, I had this dream, I had this idea that I wanted to do, and they didn't know that they have settled for safe, that they have settled for fine. But inside of them is something greater, is something more that they're actually meant to give to the world. That there's this life that is more vibrant, more alive than the life they are living. And so if you've ever been thinking like, fuck, this is not the life I was made for. But I know in my heart and my soul, I was made for something bigger than this, made for something better than this, made for something beyond safe, right? When you're living a life And you've got a lot of this, whether it be generational, pre-verbal, your own trauma, your own experiences, a lot of these experiences that have told you that you're unsafe because whether it was dangerous, whether it was you're going to be ridiculed or ostracized or banished or rejected, and all of those things are safety issues. If you have a lot of experiences like that where you felt those things and you finding yourself procrastinating on the things that you know your heart wants to do, that you're probably living a life that's bouncing from the lower level emotions to safety, maybe sometimes hitting little highs, get a little taste of it, just enough to let you know what you're missing. Most people are living that yo-yo life. And the yo-yo life is fine, but we want to live from safety on up. Safety to the joy, to the love, to the peace, to the freedom. Safety is the bottom. Oh, everything is safe, but not the dopamine safe, because dopamine is just instant. It's for right now. And the reason dopamine never lasts is because once you are safe in that moment, the dopamine hits and that's it. And then if you're craving, if you're dopamine chasing, you're going to think of some other thing that like you're lacking. And then you'll chase the dopamine to try and squash that so that you get the dopamine. And then it's just constant dopamine chasing, right? Yo yo between the lack and the safety, lack and 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 safety. Sound like your life, lack and safety, lack and safety, lack and safety. I don't know about you, but I vote for safety and joy, safety and love, safety and like let's do it high. Let's have it big. So if you are having a life that just feels like lack and safety, like it's time for you to be the wolf. Being the wolf is living above the safety point. It's living as who you wholly are. Because who you are when you're feeling unsafe is a fraction. It is a fragmented piece of you. It is not the truth of who you are or what you're here to create. It is not you being in the life that you are made for. So I have things that can support you. I have got weekly calls, weekly Be the Wolf calls. They're free. You can come. We dig deep though. So if you're willing to look at some truth, it might feel a little uncomfortable. Come to a weekly Be the Wolf call. And they're 7 a.m. Pacific every week. There's a link you can register. Also, I do monthly events and firewalks, and these events really are the expansion of that work, right? The call is like the smaller thing, and then we do bigger work events. It's about getting this into your body that you are safe. And when your body knows that you are safe, you can actually operate from those higher level emotions. You can actually create the things that your soul wants. And then, of course, there's coaching. If you want to go, like all of it's like, how fast do you want to go? Do you want to get to that place where your body just feels safe all of the time and you can live above that safety line and live those high level emotions and make decisions that create more of that and more of that and more of that? Or do you want to do lack and safety? And so it's just a matter of speed. If you want to go faster, do the coaching. If you want to go fast, come to the events. And if you just want to dip your toes in because you're not sure, come to the calls. All right. Thanks for listening. And we will see you next time on Be the Wolf. And remember, when you are the wolf, when you be the wolf, when you operate from who you truly are, not from safety and lack, but you operate from who you truly are and land and live the life that you were made for, the outcome is that humanity evolves. And we need that. We want that as a whole, as a collective. So be the wolf, and I'll see you next time.